Sips.
We're back.
You said you had a bombshell.
How did you know we were back? I'm the guy who controls the back.
Well, I'm getting used to it. Welcome back to Team.
Welcome back.
Demure.
Okay, Demure. What about a simple one? Team Doggy Doo Doo.
Team Femure.
Team Doo Doo.
Team.
Just
Team Deliberate Drive Shaft. There you go. Team Deliberate Drive Shaft.
That's nice. Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
Pretty
Thanks
good.
for these generators.
Yeah.
They are...
What about Team Destiny's Dialed instead of Child? We can make a theme song around that. Actually, you know, remember that?
What?
Yeah, remember that Destiny's Child song? We'd have to be Destiny's Dialed though, because it's the only way for the DD to fit.
Destiny's Dialed, like you mean like dialing the phone?
Sure.
People don't
Anyway,
really
it
dial
could be like a
anymore.
tribute band to Destiny's Child, but check it out, okay? You know, remember that song? I think it's the Charlie's Angels song. It's like the watch that I'm wearing, I bought it, but like we can customize all that to like our own story. So like for instance, this garage I'm sitting in, I bought it. These games I'm playing, I bought them. You got any others? This pizza I'm eating, I bought it. You know, it's just like you know, you want to make sure that everybody knows that.
This tea and I'm drinking, I made it. I guess they did.
Oh
make
yeah,
it.
you could actually mix it up. Yeah, this tea I'm brewing, I made it. This garage I'm sitting in, I bought it.
I cleaned it.
I cleaned it. No, it's not very clean though. This is the thing. It's fucking
Really?
comfy though, man.
How
Yeah,
is
it's
it
like
a mess already?
the ultimate man cave. Well,
Oh.
actually, I did clean it up a little bit, but then it got messy again. It's just the way that it goes. Like, I need somebody to come in and clean it on the regular, but I don't really have anyone that can do it. So, you know, that may be something to think about for the future. You know, it's a little job opening.
Excited.
You know, maybe it's something you'd like to do. Bring your bubble over, hook up with some hot single mums, and clean my garage.
Okay.
On the regular.
I'll bring the rubber
Shampoo.
gloves.
The floor shampoo.
Yeah, shampoo.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
recently.
we were talking about Jimmy Cameron, and I have a bombshell for you. All right,
Tell me.
Are you ready for this?
Don't tell me
Do
he's
you
dead.
remember the movie Gremlins?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I
this
do.
might
I watched
not
it
be
at Christmas, like when I was a kid. I think.
And do
that
you
scared
know who
me.
directed that movie?
It was Joe
You're gonna be
Dante.
No, you're gonna be fucking surprised at who actually directed the movie Gremlins,
Well,
because
it's
I didn't
definitely-
realize. I watched it yesterday.
It's Joe Dante.
It's
says
not
here.
Joe Dante. Close though. It is none other than Stefan Spielbergo, the one and only. Gremlins, motherfucker. Can you believe it?
Not according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, what does Wikipedia know? All right, I saw with my own eyes. Steven Spielberg presents Gremlins.
Oh, he presents it. That's like
Yeah.
saying. That's like having the fucking a ghost written. It's like saying, "Oh, Jordan's autobiography."
I know. You know,
Written
you
by
say this, you
Jordan.
say all this, but we both know that Steven Spielberg isn't just going to sit idly by and present something without getting into that director's chair,
Without
and
getting a
doing the
good
magic,
wad of cash.
without
not just
doing
gonna
a
sit
good amount
idly
of
by.
direction. He's going to
No.
get in there. He's going to be like, "Listen, Joe DiMaggio, I know that this is your film, but I'm Steven Spielberg, world-renowned director, and I think that I have a thing or two that I could offer to the production of this movie. Why don't you just step aside a minute, let me sit down, and let me do this for a second?" And the guy was just like, "Oh, well, Steven, I think the thing is Gremlins is, of course, a period piece that I really want to make sure we really embrace the values of the Gremlin Society." And Steven's like, "Joe, shut the fuck up a minute, okay? Let me sit
God.
down in this director's chair." And that's when the magic happened. I don't know exactly what it is that happened, because like a professional chef, Steven Spielberg does that thing with his hand where he hides from your vision what he's actually doing.
Okay.
Because it's secret. It's like a trick of the trade.
It's drugs.
and then he pulled it out of the bag, or his ass, and there's the story of Gremlins, how
Well,
it
do you know
became
what?
so popular, so big, because Steven Spielberg knows how to direct a movie, and Joe Piscopo, or whatever his name was, the guy you mentioned that you thought did it,
Right.
doesn't.
Well,
And Steven recognized that early on, and that's what made it such a big hit.
okay.
Just got rid of the other guy.
Here's the deal. The story wasn't originally intended to be filmed at all until Spielberg took an interest in turning it into a film. He
Whoa.
bought it
See?
and then hired
Yeah.
Joe Dante as the director because of his previous
Oh.
experience with horror comedy. Okay? Spielberg has a
Oh.
cameo in the film as a man riding a recumbent bicycle.
Yeah.
That's one of those bicycles that has like
I don't
the
remember
lean-
seeing him in it, actually.
Okay.
weird.
Blah blah blah. Apparently, instead of
Joe
Stripe,
Dante.
instead of Stripe being a Mogwai who becomes a gremlin, there was originally no Mogwai named Stripe. Rather, Gizmo was supposed to turn into Stripe the gremlin. However, Spielberg
Gizmo.
wanted to keep Gizmo cute. And want him.
Remember
present
how
throughout the film.
awful it was when they would go in the water? Remember when they
Yeah.
went in the swimming pool and they started turning into the bad ones? And it's like, oh my god.
That was amazing, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. It was petrifying.
Did you watch it with your kid?
No.
Oh,
He
okay.
was like, he was in and out of the room sort of thing, but not fully watching it. And then we stopped watching it, like, when it started to get really intense because, you know, you don't want him to get scared.
It was a horror comedy, definitely. It was
Yeah.
definitely a spookier film. I remember as a kid.
It was one of the spookiest, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah, but I remember, you know, we were watching it, and it was like, fucking Spielberg, I can't believe it. What has this guy not done? Show me a movie that Spielberg hasn't had a hand in. Like, this guy, seriously, his contribution to film over the past, like, 100 years has been crazy.
Just go easy, Sips.
What?
Go easy. You know, I know you're a fan.
Well,
God, you might as well.
I just want to show my respect to, you know, arguably the biggest talent in the biz.
He
In the 80s
is-
and currently as well. I mean, this guy's been around forever. He's been producing the goods.
Oh my God, do you know what his net worth is?
Yeah,
Net
do you know
worth.
that? Do you want to know something else about Spielberg?
$4 billion.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. You know why?
Why?
Listen, this is crazy, okay? George Lucas, when he was making Star Wars in the first place, they were doing they were putting it together, and it was scheduled for release. And at the same time, Spielberg was working on Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah.
So Lucas and Spielberg are like pretty good friends, and they'd happen by each other's sets.
I'm
from
already
time to
taking
time.
this story with a pinch of salt as if it's
No.
like,
You can look it up.
as if it's,
You look
I
it up
don't know
on
whether
Wikipedia or
it's
whatever.
An old Sipsy classic.
Anyway.
I just make it up off the top of my head.
No,
I'm
it's
just gonna
not. No,
assume
no.
it
This is 100% true. Okay.
Okay.
So Star Wars is just like wrapping up, and they've shown it to like the executives at 20th Century Fox or whatever, and they showed them the version where they didn't have the special effects in, so they had like a shopping cart for the Millennium Falcon and stuff, and all this like old World War II plane footage, like for
Okay.
the dogfighting scenes and stuff.
Right.
And Spielberg is at this, and everybody was like, George, I don't know, like, are you on crack or something? This looks pretty bad. What have we paid for here? Star Wars is gonna be pretty dumb. And
Mr.
Spielberg
Pepsi
comes up to him.
Cola was like,
Yeah,
I don't know
Mr.
about
Pepsi
this,
Cola and
George.
Gary Coke drinker were like, George, you're fucking crazy, man. And anyway, Spielberg says to George Lucas, like, fuck, this is gonna be huge, by the way. George Lucas like, nah, I don't think so. And they're at the set of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and George Lucas is like, no, I think this is gonna like kill Star Wars at the box office. And Steven Spielberg's like, no way, George, like, this is gonna be humongous, trust me. So he's like, all right, well, fine. I'm about to release this movie. It's gonna flop. I'm probably gonna lose everything because I've poured like all of my heart and soul and finances into it. He's like, why don't you give me like 2% of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, so that I have some sort of insurance, after it all goes wrong or whatever. And in return, I'll give you 2% of Star Wars. because I know that it's just going to be like terrible or whatever. So Steven Spielberg's like, yeah, okay, fine. That sounds like a good deal to me. And so George Lucas is like, okay, great. Well, at least, I know that Steven Spielberg's movie is going to be amazing and stuff's going to do really well. So at least I'll have some money after like this all goes fucking down the crapper. So Star Wars releases. George Lucas is on vacation in Hawaii with his wife at the time. Totally forgot that it was even being released that night because he was so disappointed and thought it was just going to be a train wreck or whatever. And then they start watching the news and everybody's like losing their shit about Star Wars and stuff and going crazy, and it's become this big phenomenon and everything. And it was actually released to like 35 theaters originally, but they had to re-release it later on because it was so popular. So they re-released it again, and it made millions and stuff. And to this day, Steven Spielberg still owns 2% of Star Wars.
I don't believe it.
I fucking telling you, it's true.
Oh my god!
It might be more than 2% even. I seem to remember 2%, but it could be more. So there you go. Fucking Spielberg actually he owns some of Star Wars, and Disney's acquisition of Star Wars only covered digital distribution as well. So like. Of some of the other movies or whatever. So like still like physical sales of Star Wars and stuff, I think Lucas or Spielberg or a couple of other people may still profit from.
Oh my god, you're right. 2.5%. They each trade on it.
Yeah,
but Close Encounters made like 300 million at the box office. So
I know, that was his insurance,
well.
Right? But then he just he doubled up because I think
they both did incredibly well though.
Off the back of those movies,
so
and then they went on to do Indiana Jones together, remember? They're like, holy shit, George, Steven, I love you, man. I love you too. We made so much money. What do you want to do next? Fucking let's get Harrison Ford in again, and this time let's give him a whip and see what happens. And then again,
I think he's the true genius behind these
history
things.
And magic is made. It's nuts to think though that two massive, there's already 2 Star Wars trilogies effectively, and then when you think like the Indiana Jones trilogy, I don't know about the Crystal Skull because I never saw it, but George Lucas has also had a pretty massive hand in sort of cinema the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Well.
Do you think
past couple of decades?
What did you think of the new Star Wars film?
I liked it a lot. I was expecting to enjoy it because it's Star Wars, and I thought at the very least Disney aren't stupid. They're still going to have all these like iconic ships and cool shit and stuff. And I saw the trailer, so I thought, the Millennium Falcon's going to be in it, and I was ready. It's been a while since like a Star Wars movie came out and everything, and I thought, fuck it, I don't even care. If the movie's total garbage, at least you get to see some really awesome like Abrams style sci-fi fast moving action scenes with the spaceships and everything, and I thought that's enough for me. Like I don't really care at this point. But I was pleasantly surprised. Like the story was pretty cool, and there's a lot of cool stuff in it, and I'm excited. I'm excited for the next movies to come out now.
What do you think about? Because one of the ones that they've talked about coming out soon, well not soon, one of the ones they've got in the works is a sort of one that's focused on Han Solo when he's sort of younger, like either pre-Star Wars or kind of in the gaps. So what do you think about that?
I don't know.
Who would play...
if they cast me to play him, because I kind of look like him anyway, I'd be pretty happy. But
yeah, I've always thought about that about you. Actually, I've always thought that you looked a little bit like him.
Bit like Christian Slater and Harrison Ford mixed together, like their love child, right?
Yeah.
Would you say?
I think that is you in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, if somebody wants to Photoshop those two together and see what happens, and if you end up with a picture of me, I'm just going to sit here and say,
told you so.
Told you so, bitch.
Yeah.
But,
holy shit.
Yeah. No, so I didn't realize that was the thing. That's cool, actually. That's pretty exciting.
I think that they will find someone who'll work. I think it's interesting when I watch stuff and look for people who so I watched an episode of Star Trek. Okay, I watched an episode of Star Trek.
What, the Next Generation?
Yeah, it was a really early episode, and it was an episode
Right.
where Wesley got Q was involved, and he basically gave everyone on the Enterprise everything they ever wanted. Okay, so he gave Worf like a really aggressive
gave them all
Klingon
AIDS.
woman. He made
Yeah.
he made Data a human, he equivalent or whatever, and he because that's always what Data's like the Pinocchio of Star Trek, and I want to be a real boy. God.
I want to feel.
And
Tasha Yar, touch me. I want to feel what it is to be a man.
And they in the show they had this moment where Wesley Crusher grew up, okay, and they obviously cast this actor who was like a Hollywood bodybuilder model guy. He was like 6'5". He was absolutely gorgeous,
Yeah.
And then obviously we know what he turned into because it's Will Wheaton, this
Yeah.
who I'm not the biggest fan of, but he's not. He's kind of. Do you know what I mean? He's not like a bodybuilder. He's not like what
No.
Star Trek envisioned him to be.
I mean, it's gotta be said, Lewis. Neither are you. So I don't know. I mean, or are you? Are you one?
what do you mean? I'm not going to grow up into like Arnold Schwarzenegger, am I? I'm just,
Shit! Damn it! I died. I was laughing too hard at that.
I'm just saying.
Shit.
So basically, there's this thing in Hollywood though, where they tend to like cast someone who looks a bit similar to that person. You could sort of
Yeah,
imagine
like a
that they're a
stunt
younger
actor.
or an older version of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes they get it really off, right? And you just
I mean,
can't
they do that in
fucking
porn
believe
as
it.
well with stunt cocks. They try to find somebody with a penis that resembles yours, so that you can have a bit of downtime in between all that fucking.
What are you talking about?
It's like I thought we were talking about like stunt doubles, and then I started talking about stunt cocks.
What are stunt cocks though? I didn't think they were.
It's like
I didn't think
it's
it was
like a
what you just
stand-in
said.
cock, yeah. But like, because you've been at it all day, hammering away. You need a little break, so they get somebody with a very similar penis to your own in, and then they do the close-up shots of your dick, but it's not your dick. Somebody else's
like
dick
so,
that
so
looks
you
like
could
your
have the
dick.
same thing for women though, like stunt boobs. Because I think in Game of Thrones,
But
in the Game of Thrones, where there's that,
Yeah.
where she has to walk naked through the whole of King's Landing,
oh yeah. Don't spoil it. I mean, that's
That
a pretty big spoiler.
is a big spoiler.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it's the new season's coming out like pretty soon. So
tough shit. You know
does it
what?
matter?
Tough
Yeah?
shit, right? If you're that far
Yeah,
behind
you're
on
right.
Game of Thrones, fuck you.
Well, anyway, on that bombshell, we'll be back. We'll talk about this more next time because we're on to
about
something.
That.
No,
Can't
don't
help
worry
it. I
about
can't put some sort of big spoiler warning at the start of every bloody thing I say because I say a lot of crap. Right? I've spoiled the
think
Bone
just-
Wars for someone. We spoiled Twilight. We spoiled.
And we spoiled Gremlins and all of Star Wars and everything as well. We've been talking
Exactly.
about lots of movies. Every James Cameron movie ever has been spoiled now as well. And also his extracurricular activities outside of making hit movies been
Yeah.
spoiled.
So if you're watching those things
We're
now,
monsters.
if you're watching that
Yeah.
stunt, if Harrison Ford's stunt,
Stunt
Todger,
cock. Yeah.
I didn't know it was a thing, but I do now, and I believe you. Holy
You
crap.
do now.
There you go.
Anyway,
Thank you.
we'll
everyone.
we'll see you next time. Thank you and good night.
Peace.